ever like stumbled onto a website and been like, whoa, these people get me? You know, the kind that practically makes you want to whip out your credit card before you even realize it?
Hmm.
We're diving deep into that magic today, figuring out what separates those digital rock stars from the websites that leave you wanting to, like, chuck your laptop out the window.
Right, right.
We're calling this deep dive, turning your website into a customer magnet. And, well, you sent over this really interesting blog post, breaks down different types of websites.
Yeah, and it all comes down to this idea of conversion. Like the blog post, it kind of calls out this trap, this really common trap of just thinking of your website as like an online brochure.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
here's our About Us page. Scroll for like an hour if you want.
exactly.
I mean, listen, I get it. You got to have a presence online. But this post is saying there's this whole other level, these conversion-focused websites.
Yeah. It's like a fundamental shift, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just like throwing information out there,
Yeah.
it's like you're designing the whole experience to guide people, your visitors, towards like a specific action.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Think of it this way. It's like the difference between like a dusty old library.
With like one flickering light bulb.
Exactly. Versus like you walk into this like, this modern bookstore and they've got comfy chairs. They got these displays that are just like calling you like, pick me up, read me.
Okay, so how do we translate those comfy chairs and like pick me up, read me displays to the online world? What are the digital ingredients of a website that really converts?
So it all starts with, understanding user experience. We always hear this UX.
UX, yeah.
It's got to be intuitive, easy to use, visually appealing. The blog post mentions this phrase, clear calls to action. And that's really crucial, right? Like if you just see like a generic learn more button, you're kind of like, meh.
Yeah, you just scroll right past it.
But what if it's like, get your free consultation today?
Ooh,
Yeah.
specificity. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between like a street performer just like kind of vaguely asking for money versus one who's like, I will tell your fortune. Suddenly I'm like, hold on, let me find some change.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's this whole visual element, right? Like subtle animations that kind of draw your eye to a special offer.
Yeah.
Those really high quality images that showcase your product.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's all about making it like ridiculously easy for people to understand what you offer and how to like take that next step.
Okay, so it's not just about looking pretty. It's about like strategically using design to, like you said, guide those visitors toward, what is it? A desired action.
Exactly.
Now, I noticed the blog post also uses the term dynamic when describing these websites. What does that even mean?
So think of a website that like remembers your preferences. Like, have you ever been on Amazon and it's suggesting products based on like your past purchases?
Oh, yeah, yeah, all the time. And like it knows what language I want to read it in?
Exactly. Or imagine, you land on a homepage and it greets you with a personalized message, maybe a special offer based on where you are in the world. That's the power of a dynamic website right there.
It's like the website's a salesperson who's like done their homework on you before the meeting even started. They're not just pitching a product, they're offering a solution to your like very specific problems. And that's going to be way more effective. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it all comes down to trust.
Yeah.
Building trust, showing the visitor that you understand them, that you value their time.
Right.
Right. And a dynamic website, well, it just does that in a way that a static one, just can't.
Okay, so how do you even begin to build a website that's this, dynamic and engaging? Like, what are some practical things our listeners can actually do? Give us the good stuff. Give us the inside scoop.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, right, you got to understand your audience.
Right.
I mean, really understand them. What are their pain points? What are their goals? And once you know that, then you can start tailoring the entire user experience to really address those needs directly.
Ooh, I like that. So it's about like putting yourself in their shoes, thinking about what kind of experience would really resonate with them.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay, we're starting to get into the nitty-gritty now. Give us some more of those golden nuggets. What else can people listening do to make their websites work harder for them?
Don't be afraid to experiment. Try A/B testing, different headlines, calls to action, even images. You might be surprised at what really connects with your audience.
A/B testing. For folks who might not have encountered that term, what is that exactly?
Yeah, so it's basically having like two versions of something on your website, and you see which one performs better. Think of it as like a science experiment for your website. It lets you make decisions about design content based on like real data, right? And then you can refine your approach to get the best possible results.
I love that. It's not about guessing, it's about, like you said, using that data to make smart choices. So we've talked about the importance of user experience, making your website dynamic, but what about this idea of ROI, return on investment? The blog post mentions it. Why is it important?
Yeah. So this is where it gets really, really interesting. You see,
Yeah.
this is where it gets really, really interesting. You see, with a conversion-focused website, you can actually measure its effectiveness.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not just some vague, like, oh, I hope people like my website kind of thing.
Right.
You can track, like, how many people visit your site, how long they're staying on each page, what they're clicking on,
Right.
and of course, how many of those visits are actually turning into, leads or sales.
So it's like having like a whole team of like tiny little data analysts
Yes.
working around the clock telling you what's working and what's not.
Exactly. And the beauty of that is that you can refine your approach over time, right? You can make your website even better at actually driving those desired outcomes.
Yeah.
It's like constantly getting better, learning and adapting
Yeah.
based on like real user behavior.
Okay, so this is where it all connects to the bigger picture, right? The blog post talks about like aligning your website with your overall digital marketing strategy.
Yeah, that's key. Think of your website as like the central hub, right? The heart of your online presence.
Okay.
All your other marketing efforts, your social media, your Google Ads, content marketing, it all kind of points back to your website.
It's like all roads lead to Rome.
Exactly.
Except instead of chariots, we've got like, click-through rates and landing pages.
I love that. And just like ancient Rome, a successful website takes planning, strategic execution. You don't just throw things out there and hope for the best.
So let's say like someone finds my awesome blog post through, I don't know, a Google search, right?
Yeah.
They click the link, bam, they're on my website. Now what? How do I keep them engaged? How do I guide them towards like, I don't know, signing up for my email list or better yet, buying my amazing product?
So that's where landing page optimization comes in.
Mm-hmm.
You want to create a page that's specifically designed to like convert those visitors from that particular source.
Yeah.
Right? You want to give them exactly what they're looking for based on that initial search or, that click.
Okay, so like if my blog post is about, let's say, the best noise canceling headphones for like digital nomads, my landing page should have a really clear headline like find your perfect noise canceling headphones
Yeah.
and maybe like some kind of special offer, especially for first-time buyers.
Exactly. Don't forget about those clear calls to action where you're
Oh, right.
Instead of just saying, learn more, it's got to be something like, get your free noise-canceling headphones guide, or, shop now and save 15%. Something that really grabs their attention.
Ooh, I like where this is going. It's like it's all about removing those barriers to entry, making it as easy as possible for someone to be like, yes, I need this in my life.
Exactly. And the more you can, like, personalize that experience, based on what you know about the visitor, the more effective your conversion rate's going to be.
This is making me think about something the blog post touched on, this whole idea of like a conversion-focused website being an investment, not just a cost. And I feel like a lot of people might shy away from this approach just because it, maybe it sounds expensive, maybe even a little intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable, right? It's a different way of thinking. But think of it this way. A well-designed website, it's like having a high-performing employee, right?
Okay.
Who's working 24/7 to bring in customers, generate revenue.
And unlike a human employee, they never take a vacation, never ask for a raise.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's an asset that if you nurture it, if you develop it properly, it can generate returns for years and years to come.
Okay, so how do we nurture and develop this digital employee? Give us the inside scoop. What do we do?
It all starts with data, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tools like heat maps can show you where people are clicking on your pages. Like, are they getting stuck anywhere? Are they confused?
Okay.
You can use A/B testing to experiment with different versions of your website copy, your images, your calls to action. See what really resonates with your target audience.
So again, it's all about constantly learning, experimenting, making those data-driven decisions to constantly be improving your website's performance.
Precisely. And this goes back to the idea of the website being a dynamic tool, right?
Right.
It's not about building something perfect on day one and then forgetting about it.
It's more like tending a garden.
Yes.
You've got to water it.
Yeah.
You've got to weed it. You've got to make sure it's getting enough sunshine to thrive. I love that analogy. It really is. It's a living, breathing entity that needs care, attention, adaptation to really reach its full potential. And that's how you turn it into a true customer magnet.
It's like they say, right? A website is never finished, only launched.
That's so true. And that's where I think a lot of businesses, they kind of miss the mark. They treat it like, okay, website, check, done, moving on.
Right, right.
Instead of this ongoing thing, it's got to be constantly evolving.
It's like buying a gym membership and then, never going.
Exactly. Perfect analogy.
You're not going to see those results unless you put in the work.
Got to put in the work.
Okay, so for those of us ready to break a sweat and get our websites in shape, where do we even begin? Because I mean, it's easy to feel overwhelmed with all this info.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'd say first take a step back. Think about your goals. I mean, what do you actually want your website to do? More leads, increase sales, just get your brand out there. Once you've got that clear vision, then you can start figuring out how to measure your progress.
Yeah.
Right? What are those key performance indicators, your KPIs?
Okay. KPIs, by the way, for anyone who hasn't encountered that term before, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so KPIs, they're like the metrics you use to track how your website's doing, right?
Right.
Like let's say your goal is to get more leads. You might track how many people fill out your contact form or maybe sign up for your email list.
Right.
Or if it's sales you're after, then you're looking at conversion rates, maybe the average amount people are spending.
Okay, makes sense. What gets measured gets managed. And speaking of management, I feel like this is where having the right tools makes all the difference.
Oh, absolutely. And the good news is there are so many amazing tools out there. Things that'll track your website's performance, analyze how people are behaving on the site,
Right.
and really help you pinpoint those areas where you can improve.
This is what I get excited about. It's like having superpowers or something.
I know.
You can see exactly what people are doing on your website.
Yeah.
And then use that to make it even better.
It's amazing.
Okay, so we've got our goals, we've got the tools, we're tracking those KPIs like pros. What are some common pitfalls to avoid on this journey to total website domination?
Oh, man, this is a big one.
Yeah.
Don't neglect mobile optimization.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on, everyone's on their phones these days, right? So if your website looks terrible on a phone, if it's hard to use, you're going to lose people.
It's like trying to cram this giant, delicious cake into a tiny little mailbox.
Exactly. It's just not going to work.
It's not going to be pretty.
Another thing I see a lot is businesses. They don't clearly communicate their unique value proposition, their UVP.
Okay, yeah, their UVP. What is that again? Remind us.
It's like, why should I choose you over everyone else? What makes you special? That has to be crystal clear on your website.
I love that. So your UVP is it's like your elevator pitch, but for your whole business.
Exactly. And then, don't underestimate good old-fashioned content. Blog posts, articles, videos, whatever it is you do, keep putting out that valuable content. That's how you attract new visitors, show everyone you're the expert, and keep people coming back for more.
It's like they say, content is king, but it's got to be good content.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just any old thing. It's got to be engaging, relevant to the people you're trying to reach.
Quality over quantity, always.
Well said, well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the awesome world of conversion-focused websites, what's the one thing, the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
Their website, it's their most valuable marketing tool. It's not just a digital brochure. It's powerful.
Right.
And if you use it right, it can help you achieve some pretty incredible things for your business.
So well said. Shifting that mindset, right? It's not an expense, it's an investment.
Yeah.
It opens up a whole world of possibilities. Well, on that note, folks, we'll leave you with this. If your website was a salesperson, would you hire them? Think about it. Until next time, happy converting.